Chapter 11. Becoming Accountable. What was your initial reaction the first time you were confronted with the possibility that you could be the cause, the creator of your own problems and your own illnesses? I remember how I felt when I first saw a list of probable emotions that cause disease, meaning that which takes one out of ease. I felt like a ton of bricks had dropped on me. I was into super denial, though I wanted to forget about this new awareness. I couldn't. The concept kept popping up in my mind until it finally ate at me long enough. In order for me to be at peace, I had to concede and acknowledge that my feelings were causing several health problems. Now it's interesting for me to observe the denial that takes place in others when they're first confronted with the possibility that they may be responsible for their own problems and diseases and illnesses. It is so much easier and so much less threatening to us when we think that someone or something out there is to blame for our health problems, or for any other problem for that matter. When we can blame someone else, it opens and creates a twofold predicament. First of all, blaming others allows us to stay in our comfort zone, where we feel safe. The regrettable thing about staying in our comfort zone, however, is that generally there is no growth. Secondly, and unfortunately, when we insist on putting the blame or responsibility for our problems on someone else's shoulders, we avoid taking responsibility and becoming accountable for our own thoughts, feelings, and actions. So what, you may be saying? We cannot learn and grow from our experiences as intended when we blame others. When we blame others, we relinquish our agency, our will, our freedom of choice, and our personal power, and we allow someone else to be responsible for what is happening in our life. We're left with no control over our own life when we do this. If we want to keep these greatest of great gifts, agency, will, choice, and personal power, we will take responsibility for our own thoughts, our own feelings, and our own actions. We will become accountable for what is happening in our own life. Overcoming blame enables us to let go of being a victim of life's circumstances, thereby eliminating the victim's pattern that we may have found ourselves in time after time. When we recognize that our plight and challenges are a result of the universal law of cause and effect, we're motivated to search for the cause so that we can change the effect of any undesirable circumstance in which we find ourselves. If as children in school we had never been challenged to go from addition to subtraction, then to multiplication and on to division, would we have completed it on our own? Most likely not. If we have a challenge in life and we just say, "Oh, forget it," and refuse to do our best to confront and overcome the obstacle, we normally stay in our comfortable ruts. When we stay in those ruts, we're following the path of least resistance, which stifles our progress, thereby causing it to be restricted or halted. As I stated before, always staying within our comfort zone is equal to little or no growth. Happy is the day when we're willing to step outside the zone of comfort, taking a long, hard look at our unwillingness to become accountable, and expand our horizons by risking a little effort, or a lot. When we're willing to risk, to step outside that comfort zone, our growth expansion begins. Yes, often it is uncomfortable, and perhaps even painful. And yet it is necessary to acquire the willingness to experience discomfort in order to grow. As we do this, new experiences become less painful, less frightening, and more comfortable. We may be surprised, however, and find that we can sail right through our growth experiences with little or no discomfort. Another reason we may not be willing to be accountable for our thoughts and feelings, denial, is that if we admit finally that perhaps we are the one who caused our own misery, illness, or problems, then we would be admitting that we had been wrong all these years about many things, especially wrong about the way we viewed our problems. We stay in denial because we feel attacked, or that our very life's blood is threatened. Owning that we were wrong is more than some of us want to deal with. When we own our wrongness, many of our belief systems, our identity is wrapped up in our beliefs, and they are what keep us going, come under scrutiny, and we find them to be extremely vulnerable and shaky. This can literally strip us of our identity and throw us into total confusion, which may then cause us to lose our point of reference. At this point, we may actually not know who we are or what we are about. The disorientation is so penetrating. So rather than experience discomfort and vulnerability, some people will turn back to their old ways and refuse to face what is. These people are not able to tolerate or recognize that shifting into a more mature and, in reality, a safer space is what they are seeking all along. What we don't understand is that it is permissible. It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to be wrong, if that's what we choose to call it. We've grown up in a culture that has programmed us to be right for so long that changing this mindset may be a frightening and painful adjustment. The reason we may have a difficult adjustment is due to our mind thinking it always has to be right and justified. Allow yourself to make a mistake. Give yourself permission to be wrong. And that's how we all learn. If we as human beings could just let go of the feeling that we had to be right and replace that word right with the word correct, maybe the transition would be a little easier to live with, and the ego wouldn't be so traumatized at having to give up being right and justified. Does it really matter? Would be a good question to ask yourself when you feel the need to be right above all else. Most of the time, if you answer the question, does it really matter? Honestly and truthfully, the answer will be, no, it does not matter. Or another question to ask yourself is one that Dr. Jampolsky asks. Would you rather be right or would you rather experience peace? When you can truly say and mean, it doesn't matter if I'm wrong. I would rather experience peace, or I choose peace. Many uncomfortable situations and explosive moments can and will be totally diffused, and you will experience peace. Peace that is very sweet. If you decide that you no longer care to be a victim, if this is one of your strongest desires, in order to accomplish this, it's necessary to release the blame from your being. To more thoroughly enhance and expand your ability and power to change, you will undoubtedly want to release being judgmental also. If we feel we must judge, let's keep our judgments confined to the realm for which we're responsible, the immediate realm of our own mind, body, and heart. And even when we do this, we must guard against judging ourselves too harshly. A good goal would be to acknowledge our imbalances, adjust them, and move on. These are author Ken Carey's words of wisdom from his book, Terra Christa. Becoming accountable is what it's all about. Taking accountability allows a great shift of major proportions, one that allows you to become the master of yourself and your universe. All that is necessary is to be willing to be accountable for. Number 1, your own feelings. Number 2, your own thoughts. Number 3, your own words. And number 4, your own actions. How are you going to account for your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions? Health, in every facet of your life, is controlled by awareness. So, once again, become consciously aware of what you are feeling, what you're thinking, and what you're saying, and what you're doing. If you have no consciousness in these 4 aspects of your life, you could be likened unto a ship at sea with no compass or no rudder. You're tossed to and fro without benefit of direction and without the power to reach your destination. All human experiences can be evaluated in terms of consciousness and power. Without consciousness, power is subhuman in its manifestations. By choosing to let go of blame and judgment, you start on your road to becoming a more responsible and accountable person. This becoming responsible and accountable is necessary. If you want to overcome the victim role in your life, becoming responsible and accountable is necessary if you want to change the causes that create undesirable effects to causes that create the desirable effects. If you want to claim your God-given power that allows you to control your life, and if you want to experience more desirable results in your life than you have previously experienced, just remember that things out there do not cause your problems. All the reasons for the problems in your life can be found within yourself. When we quit looking for the answers outside of ourselves, we will begin to gain control of what causes our challenges, problems, and negative effects, and turn from being victims to becoming masters of ourselves. No man is free who is not master of himself. You can bring this about by 1, letting go of blame and judgment. 2, letting go of force and control. Number 3, forgiving completely. Number 4, loving unconditionally. 5, accepting challenges with gratitude. 6, accepting the perfection in everyone and everything. 7, giving thanks in all things. By accepting responsibility for your own actions and becoming 100% accountable for your thoughts, feelings, words, emotions, and beliefs, you create your own joy and peace of mind. The choice is really yours. Are you going around feeling like a victim, or are you the master of your destiny? Always remember, when we recognize and accept with unconditional love the perfection in everything, it allows us to shift, change, and grow effortlessly.